Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the weirdest track that you'll ever see a stock car oval run on. But it is indeed an oval. It's not 4 turns, it's not a circle, it's an oval with 4 very distinct turns. But we're back here with Tennessee Storm Chasers with the TSC Hurricane Helene relief effort here in Triple Bypass on a Sunday night. My name is Bradley Dalton. I'll be joined very shortly in the booth here by Howie Burrows. And yes, it is the same Howie Burrows that we watched Thursday night. He's decided to not retire from racing, but just take a little sidetrack and do some part-time work here in the commentary booth. If you're not familiar with Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's 2.5 miles, 4 very weird turns, and I think everyone knows the Brickyard. And if you don't know the Brickyard, I'll be very surprised. But while we are looking at this, let's take a look at the scores on the doors here. Matt Parasini up in the top here in this season 6 run after 5 rounds with 131 points. Bobby Blowers at 112. Al Corey at 107. Ben Harcum tied with him at 107. 105 for that doggone dog, Ryan Hyatt. Jeff Slaughter in 6th place, 104. Kyle Dewey at 101. Chad Barrett, 100. Jason Benson, 99. Mike Weta at 97. I tell you what, it's been one heck of a run here. And, of course, our sponsor today is Marty Rogers. And I do want to make a mention, this is, of course, the Hurricane Helene Relief Fund. And if you are not familiar with Tennessee Storm Chasers, well, it's Tennessee Storm Chasers. They chase storms in Tennessee, headed up by Ryan Hyatt, the Corgi himself. And they are raising money to assist everyone up in Appalachia, the fun Eastern Tennessee, Western North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina area. Specifically, they are raising money to buy multiple 275-gallon water containers to distribute that out to affected areas to assist them with that. If you feel so moved to donate in, there's a GoFundMe set up, and it is down in the description, and it will be blasted in the chat a couple of times through this race as we go. Every dollar does help with that, and that helps move things through. If you're familiar with Triple Bypass, Tex Nichols himself is, of course, from the North Carolina area. Him and Ryan discussing that idea, and Ryan and the Tennessee Storm Chasers have headed this up to get this moving. Every donation does help, even if it is just $1. Everything helps to help rebuild those affected in Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, and the entire Appalachia area. And yes, it is Appalachia. I know Ryan Hyatt messaged me earlier today and said, "How do you pronounce that, Brad?" And I said, well, it's Appalachia. But that is enough of me talking through. Big shout out to Marty Rogers. Big shout out to the Tennessee Storm Chasers and that hurricane relief effort we are putting forward tonight. Howie, I think that's enough of me talking. Come on in the booth, my friend. Good evening. Good morning, actually, for you. How are you?
Indeed. This league converted me from full-time commentator to part-time full-time racer and part-time heckler. Now I get to commentate the very people I have to chase against every single week. And this is the track that actually taught me how to drive stock cars, because I had to get a coaching session with a good old famous iRacing YouTuber to even be able to get the ARCA car around it. I was bad. So I do have fond memories of this place, no matter what. As you mentioned, the hurricane relief, I think many of the people in this community even have been directly affected. Some of the drivers have had their lives sort of upended, and as said before, absolutely any donation is greatly appreciated towards this fantastic cause, as that area has been well and truly affected, and it's going to take quite a lot to get them back up on their feet. But with your help, we can do that.
Literal years of rebuilding. And while I'm not directly in that area, that is very close to me. It's a few-hour drive from me, and know plenty of people from there, and it's just outside of where my family is from. So, again, if you can help, just $1, $2, anything can go through. If you are able, definitely it is greatly appreciated. Qualifying, getting underway here for triple bypass. We're getting the cars out on, and Howie, I know we talked about this. There is an announcement that we need to make that we have discussed, you and me. We've discussed this before. It involves this driver right here. I'm gonna turn this over to you and allow you to, say the things that need to be said.
Yeah, well, it's a deeply important message. A very personal apology to Jonathan Campbell here. As the last time I was out commentating one of these races, I made a deeply regrettable mistake, and I've had a lot of people down in this community. I made the unforgivable mistake of identifying this car as a Duncan car, and this has just caused immense frustration and distress among the community. I take full responsibility for my actions, and it's not the standard I or this community should accept. And I ask you for forgiveness. I've had time to reflect on my mistake, and going forward, I'll be correctly identifying this as the Starbucks car. Thank you.
JC John Campbell in the interesting logoed Starbucks car here, starting his lap. Let's enjoy a quick lap around Indy. It's turn 1 here. You're going through hard, and then it's, again, you get that brief straightaway. Be careful of the wall to the outside, and then you're going to dive it down into turn 2 here, and you see he's running that midline, and you scrub a lot of speed through turn 1 into turn 2, but it's important to get that exit on turn 2 correct. Now it's hard throttle all the way down this long back stretch, and then slightly different turn 3 to turn 1. It feels different, even though really it doesn't look different. But I'll tell you what, it does feel different, and the drivers will tell you it feels like there's a slight difference. Then we're going to send it through turn 4. Very important to get this exit off right, and then it's all the way down the straight here. You see drivers starting to get their times in here. JC John Campbell, where's he going to land? As Harmon is top of the leaderboards with Parasini up now above him. JC John Campbell landing in 10th. There are 29 drivers here tonight. Again, I repeat that, 29 drivers here tonight in this next-gen car. Now, I will tell you, I worry my PC is going to freak out, but it's not going to freak out because my PC has been a good noodle today, so it's going to enjoy this, Howie, and we're going to enjoy watching 29 cars ram their way around this track.
It's certainly a very big track. You could say it was designed for a different type of car entirely, and you wouldn't quite be wrong. But then the stock cars bring something a little bit different to it. It's massively about that exit onto 2 and onto 4. It's the first track where you can actually say 1, 2, 3, and 4 are their own defined corners. Trying to get that slip angle just right sometimes helps, and you can make a real use of that 5th gear going down the long straight. It's a unique beast. I kind of prefer the road course with these stock cars, but then I am a weird Brit who shouldn't really be allowed to have opinions on NASCAR anyway. So if identifying that this next-gen series has some slightly different rules than standard triple bypass race, we have a stage break. The race will be lasting 80 laps, where we'll break at stage 30, as well as have a short playoff system. Some of the top drivers competing for playoff positions for the final few races.
It is very unique to see that stage break system brought in, see different things brought in. We have Matt Harmon, who is coasting his way around. He's done his 2 laps in, and he continues through. Carter Phillips, a name that is newer to me here in Triple Bypass, sending his way around and trying to find his way through. So it is one of those that seeing the drivers kind of knock their way through, it's a little bit different, especially with that playoff system, than what we're used to with that traditional, we'll call it Monday through Saturday triple bypass. That's the ones where you see the guys go out, they run, they go through, there's a point system in. Here, we've got the stage breaks, we've got the playoff system, and I'd like to say this is the big boy setup in triple bypass. This is where the rubber really meets the road, and we see a lot of action here. Qualifying still underway, still drivers trying to put in laps, finish laps, several guys not putting in a lap at all here, and Hollingsworth with a 51.36 has just knocked it top of the leaderboard out of nowhere. This 000 of Carter Phillips will come across the line, and Carter Phillips finds himself 24th. Currently, as it stands, just off of your leaderboard as we go. And now Carter Phillips will roll it down. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars that have yet to put in a lap, and I don't know if they're going to, honestly.
Yeah, I've struggled to keep it off the wall several times here, quite frankly. I'm not sure whether they kept it off or whether they just didn't quite get the run around here. This is a race with unique strategy implications. Also 50% fuel in the car, so pit stops will be required going into that second run. It's quite like a lot I like about modern NASCAR, to be honest, even if I'm quite new to it, so I'm not quite a traditionalist. So I like seeing some variety in the league, and this is just one example of the variety you get every day of the week.
Absolutely, and we are going to get the variety of the grid going here. 29 cars to talk through this grid, so we're going to move through it pretty quick here as we get ready for our pace laps, and it is going to be the wonderful J.R. Hollingsworth there in first place. Second place, Matt Harmon. And row 2 will be Matt Parasini, Sean Bradley. Row 3, Ryan Hyatt and Charles Woods. Row 4, Kyle Gresh and Mark Herzog, Al Corey, Alex Goff, Marty Rogers, and Will Emmerich. From there, continuing along, it's Elton Wu, Michael McCuskey, JC, John Campbell in the Starbucks car, Naj Crutchley in P16, Jeff Slaughter in 17th, Jason Benson in P18, James Doerr in P19, and Brian Cooper rounds out your top 20. But we still have more. Tyler Ruielis in 21st, Angel Resendez in 22nd, Rick Ellison in 23rd, Carter Phillips in 24th. From there we go Cameron Kane, Ward Fisher, Michael Seymour, Isaac Voss, and Paul Krumrie. Krumrie. There we go. Paul Krumrie rounding out P29 as we get these cars on the road and we get ready to party. You see the cars there? Listen to that car purr. Listen to that car purr. I know you can't hear it, Howie, and I'm sure you should be able to hear it, but it is a beautiful, hard idling car to listen to. Just enjoy the sound for a second. It's great. All right, that's enough sound. Let's get this thing ready to roll on the road. 29 cars paced out on the back stretch. How many cautions are we betting? Ladies and gentlemen, put your guesses in the YouTube chat. How many cautions?
This is I gotta say, this track gives people a lot of space. It's easy. I think people always make mistakes, but it also is a very wide track with a lot of long straights. So I think this one might be quite a long run race. I'd be surprised if it gets crazy. If we see one or two mistakes leading to cautions, and perhaps I'd be surprised if this was a caution fest though.
Honestly, this is going to go one of two ways, and I don't know which way it's going to go. All I can tell you is this is about to be a good time here as our drivers come around. We get ready here for the green flag. We pace our way around. Let's get everything set up. Hold your breath. We go through turn 3 here, and you see a lot of guys repping the Tennessee Storm Chasers logos there. Of course, Parasini, one of our drivers that will be. Ryan Hyatt will point out his car here in a little bit because he's got Appalachian Strong on his car. And yes, Appalachia. We'll talk about that. And then Harmon, of course, running that AMSOIL logo there on the front, sponsored by Tex Nichols, Nichols Oils Pros, who sponsored the Thursday night series you run in, Howie. But it ain't Thursday, it's Sunday. Let's get these next gens ready for 80 laps here, and we get the green. We're underway, and here we go. Hard on the throttle. It's a bit of a slow get off there, and Harmon kind of checking up. Parasini already running down the low side, and we get things moving real quick. That number 3 of Ryan Hyatt on the inside coming around. We're 3 wide early. There's Sexy Waltrip in the mix as we go through, but in the lead, Hollingsworth nice and smooth. Parasini's trying to hold that inside, and Harmon has lost a place early on. Is Harmon going to lose 2 places? It's hard to tell, but Sean Bradley's trying to put some pressure down as we go through, and down the backstretch we go with that Simpsons car. And well, I was gonna say everything's gonna
wreck in the
background.
That's quite a few cars. iRacing though might let that one go green if they all stay behind. I can't believe they got away with it. The race continues to go. The cars are going to be back on the line as we're side by side going into the next lap.
Yeah, no caution thrown here yet. We'll go back and check a replay. That's Isaac Voss and Rick Ellison that were involved in that one. But look at this up front. Parasini has gotten past Hollingsworth on the end of lap 1 and will lead lap 1 as we continue around here. Sean Bradley in the back. I see Woods trying to make a dive on Harmon in the background as well. As we continue through, you see everybody running through, going through. But that dog, Mr. Ryan Hyatt, has lost some pretty significant places early on here as we continue along and go through. Behind him, Kyle Gresh, Alex Goff battling it out a little bit. And in the front, we've started to spread through, but this hornet's nest of the back of the field is what I'm really worried about.
This is a very draft-heavy track. Not a draft-trained track, because those corners, they get a lot of skill to navigate, and that's going to let people string out. But if you're behind someone on that straight, you can just pull out a big advantage on them. It's all about corner exit, and it's all about those long straights. And that is where we are going to see passing. It's not too many opportunities to like absolutely send a crazy one on someone, but you kind of have to win them over in the long game here and use that draft effectively. And with that said, I mean, Perosini's getting away with it right now, out of that draft range of the other cars. That's going to help him out quite a bit. It's not quite a pack race entirely. These cars keep side drafting each other, which is very powerful in the next trend. They could be setting themselves back and giving him a stage win.
Yeah, and Perosini's very nice and comfortable here as we go into turn 3. Hollingsworth, Sean Bradley, side by side. Watch any sort of a slide up because that nose is right at that rear corner wheel, and you can see Voss there down on the low side going towards the pit, staying well out of the way. Harmon and Woods going side by side just behind, so we're starting to form up a 2x2x2 now. In the IndyCar, you see everyone single file, and you know, as you just mentioned, Howie, that draft is real powerful, but the side draft is playing king here. But you can see that Perosini, the more they battle here and they go side by side and they kind of duel each other out, Perosini's going to keep opening a gap. 2.1 seconds is the gap right now from Perosini to Hollingsworth, and he's going to continue to just roll that along. Gap already 2.3 before they exit out of turn 2. Now they go back single file. This is where they're going to get a little smart here. They're going to get things under control, but tell you what, for all they're doing there, you jump back here around the Ward Fisher area. This is the very back of the pack. This is P24 that we're focusing back on. These guys are not playing kind with each other at all. That's Phillips and Dorr that are just absolutely dooring each other.
I'm seeing Fisher in the midst there. That's someone I've had plenty a battle with before, and he can be a hard one to pass and a hard one to get around and deal with. All this tussling back here, it's kind of hard to make such a huge advantage out of nowhere here. The race does string out, so people are going to get stuck in their little groups, and they're really going to fight it out for every last position here. You'll find that it's a track that really exposes very big pace differences in people due to the corners, and I see smoke and I see a caution. There's quite a few cars wrecking up there ahead. That looks like Al Corey from my view. Another race hasn't gone quite well for him. There's even more in the wall. Oh, wow, Corey's got no engine. He's been absolutely blasted.
So Corey was an innocent bystander. Who started all of that? Who started all of that? That was...
He just head-on smashes into JC there. As you know, he just gets loose out of the corner. That kills the engine. JC's coming up, and an absolute murder head-on. That would seriously injure someone in real life. Thank goodness we have the simulator. We do get one fast repair in this series, but you don't want to burn it that quickly.
I'll tell you what, let's ride on board with JC real quick. Oh, yeah. Nothing JC could do to avoid that. And then several guys taken out here in the mix. And you can see JC kept the car moving.
The toe. That's good. The toe's going to cost you a lot here, but that's going to be a busy pit lane and a fast repair burned up already. I've been driving the Xfinity League where Al Corey, I mean, usually one of the strongest drivers, has been having nothing but terrible luck. And this is another sign of it. This is not a good start to this race for him.
Let's go one more angle here. I want to catch Carter Phillips' angle of this because Carter Phillips is one of those guys that was caught up here near the back. There's JC John Campbell. You see Carter's trying to go low, locks up the brakes and just slides and barely taps Benson.
These drivers are going to get that one fast repair, but one fast repair 6 laps in, maybe we'll see more cautions than I thought if that's going to be the first one of the race, and then we're going to start seeing people take some serious risks. We do have some more drivers dropping into the pit lane. Perosini's going to keep the P1, choosing to stay out and maintain position. But that's a lot of drivers in the pit lane actually to start, only 6 laps in, but I know this track isn't really a tyre murderer. Maybe they're looking for a fuel top up to make it to the end of this run. I'm not quite sure how long that 50% lasts.
Yeah, let's see who gets tires, who stays out. Let's jump this around and see a lot of guys just stopping. I don't see a lot of sides of the car going up here. Oh, Waltrip missed his box, and of course, Waltrip
That's
is Kyle
for fuel.
Gersh.
These drivers are going to need fuel. I'm not seeing these cars go up, so they think they're sorted for the stage. Maybe Pericini is banking on, cautions to fuel save, or perhaps just, waiting for the next one that will kick off behind, as everybody else has taken their... I mean, they say on the modern NASCAR broadcast, they make sure to always say Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel. It's like their built-in brand. I wonder if Triple Bypass quite have the same obligations.
Nah, no obligations to say those things here, at least on the JP Broadcasting Network with Triple Bypass. We don't say that, but I will tell you that Starbucks car looks a little dirty as it goes around. That Camaro has seen better days.
We're going to run this one into the ground. I can tell it already. That's all I'll say.
Yep. I mean, hey, we said we've been calling the car incorrectly, and it's only appropriate that we call the car the right thing.
It was my problem. I've been mocked in almost every single race for that one. I don't think I'm going to be getting away from this one quite. They'll find something else to complain to me about, though, because I've clearly gotten that one right. So they'll find something else to say. Oh, you got that wrong on JC. I doubt it.
How do you pronounce the hashtag on the side of this car? How do you pronounce the hashtag on the side of this car?
I can't quite see it from here.
Let me get you a good angle of it here.
Oh, I'm still waiting. It's hard. Bring out the Control F10 tool. Start dragging them around.
I'm not going to do that. Although, actually, that might be the best option here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is possibly the most unprofessional moment that you are going to see me do, as I try to get this.
This is not going to work. This
ain't
ain't going to work.
Yeah, no.
We're going to break it.
Actually, we have broken it. Ladies and gentlemen, very quick.
Guess we don't need the chase camera that much. I mean, true. It's not a very common occurrence.
I actually can't get my mouse to...
I should know the key for this. You're using mouse aim, aren't you?
Yeah. What is that button? Let's figure out that button.
I'm getting this for you. I'm going to rescue you.
There we go. I have fixed it. Oh, I'm going to get yelled at by James later.
It's my responsibility, actually. I'll take that one on the chin.
There's your best view you're going to get.
I mean, the thing is, like, the quality from my end ain't good enough here, and I have to wait for it to come on by on a slight delay. I'll get that to you as soon as I can find it.
I'll send you a direct message of it. Let's do this. The power of technology, ladies and gentlemen. While the cars pace around, we get ready for the green flag. I'm going to ask Howie how to pronounce that word.
Appalachia?
Yes, thank you for saying that correctly.
But only because I think I've heard it a few times in my life before. I probably would have guessed the wrong pronunciation if I tried to guess that.
Well, you said it correctly, and that's all that matters here as we get ready to go around. We get these cars around turn 4. Howie, I tell you what, one caution in here on lap 8. I don't know how many more to go. My guess is 3 cautions for the day, not including the stage. We'll see how this goes. Pace car is going to peel off. And
worth noting, we use the restart zone here, by the way, so I'll be leaving earlier.
The restart zone as they come down. And let's get this show on the road. And it is going to be right there. You see the blue painted Geico restart zone, green, green, green. And we are underway. And it is going to be Matt Pericini in the lead here as they go through. Ryan Hyatt up into 4th place, trying to hold on. Everybody 2x2 down into turn 1. Got to be very careful as they go. There's that number 25. He was involved in that early wreck there that took out Al Corey. Took out several other drivers as they continue along. But he is playing nice and smooth there. Mr. McCuskey in 5th place. They go around, but look at the gap. Pericini's already pulled up front, but back here in the back, it is Tyler Ruyelis and Hollingsworth that are going side by side.
Looks like the pack has just about made it sensibly here so far. As I say that, as they're about to swing 3 wide into that corner. Pericini with a good launch again. The restart zone gives you a lot of control as to where you start. There are playoff points on the line for finishing in first in the stage. This is a win and you're in system, but Pericini has the race at Charlotte at the beginning of this season, so he'll be looking to secure playoff points for that final stage, as that sure is a pit entry into the side barrier. Good to see no one was injured.
That is Matt Harmon, who I don't think meant to do that, and then
Could be a drive.
Yeah, his race is gone.
I think he did get loose into pit entry now that you bring it up.
I think he just swung it loose off of 4 and got lucky, is what I think just happened to him.
A free drive-through penalty. That's what the stage caution's for, though.
Unfortunate to see here. We watch Hyatt continue to defend from McCuskey as they go around and around. Lap 10 of 80 here. 70 laps to go around Indianapolis. Look at Sean Bradley putting some pressure on Parasini early as they come down the front stretch. They cross the line there. There should be bricks. There's not bricks. It kind of annoys me. And now we come around here through turn 1 and 2. You see that Tennessee Storm Chaser Camaro there in the lead of Parasini, holding nice and smooth, but Sean Bradley is a force to be reckoned with. He is fast and feisty, and he is going to be sticking right on the back there.
Bradley's had a much better start than he did last time, with Parasini getting away. I'd say Bradley is safely within that draft range. There's still quite a bit of time to really make your move if you want to make your move. It's hard to make an aggressive one here, but you can slowly eat away at someone's advantage, and Charles Woods doesn't want to leave this train either. This top 3 have made a clean break, but I think that first place is going to be down to any one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very close as they go through. Sean Bradley right on the back here. Now he's going to look up the inside to 1. That is probably your best passing zone if you don't get it through the draft. But remember, of course, when you're in the draft, when you pull out, it's like you're hitting a wall of air and you can lose your momentum pretty quick if you're not careful. Cars continue down and around here, and I do want to look a little farther back here with Kyle Gresh as he's got an absolute mad hornet's nest of cars behind him. We keep going through. There's Tyler Ruielas, who is in the mix of things as well, and then Door here, Ward Fisher back a bit more, all the way back through. There's JC John Campbell, and that is your top 24 as they stand. But up front, Parasini holding strong here, pulling a little bit more of a gap on Sean Bradley.
If there's one thing I wouldn't say, it is do not count out JC. It sounds ridiculous right now. He's sitting in 24th, but it feels like for 3-4 races in a row, he has been sitting at the back and then pulled off some outrageous strategy to end up in the top 3. You saw it at Nashville earlier in the week. He keeps doing it. I keep saying you can't keep getting away with it. Some of these drivers are going to look for chaos and going to look to take advantage of good strategy calls. On the topic of strategy, I'm curious as to whether Parasini thinks he has the fuel to make it to the end of the stage, though.
It'll be an ask. I don't think it's impossible, but it'll be a little bit of an ask for him there as they go around. Tyler Ruielas has dropped back to 20th place. We saw him slightly tap the wall there out of 4 and then lost the momentum all the way down the front stretch. He's continuing to drop places along. Parasini, 0.2 of a second, the lead here on Sean Bradley. Sean Bradley now with the draft as we go down the back stretch. Is he going to have the momentum to get the pass done into 1? It looks like at the moment he is just sticking along here, sticking on. Let's run on board really quick and see what he's doing.
This track really sort of frustrates. It's quite hard to force the issue. You have to play alongside for a very long time. We did see Parasini slide there on the exit of 1, and that's really going to ruin his exit speed now. Bradley has the pace to get a run, go side by side. He's going to be clear before he even makes it out of corner exit, I think. Just waiting for Parasini, but on the inside... Oh, you swapped the camera. It's the same result, people. Sean Bradley makes a really nice pass on Parasini. Saw him get loose on the onboard. Just saw him lose it a bit. These tiny mistakes are how you're going to get people.
Yeah, Sean Bradley getting real feisty up the inside there. But remember, as they do that, Charles Woods is going to be reintroduced into this mix as well. And all of a sudden, you go from a 2-car battle to a 3-car battle. And then if these 3 start battling, we can go from a 3-car battle to a 29-car battle if we really want. Parasini's getting a little wiggly off the exit of 1 there. It's interesting to see how his car is handling compared to others as they go around here. Sean Bradley looks nice and stable, and Parasini does not. Woods now back in the back. We're going to drop to this next pack of cars here. Ryan Hyatt starts the next run here with J.R. Hollingsworth, Michael McCuskey, and Kyle Gresh. He's a driver I've raced around Indy. They ran the Indy 500 here in Triple Bypass and hosted that. There was about 20 of us that showed up. And yes, I raced. I didn't commentate. I raced. I led for a large chunk, and I bend it with about 20 minutes of racing to go.
That car is brutal.
Perosini.
What's going on pit lane? Perosini's completely lost pit entry there. The green flag pit stop that he knew he was going to make, I think, has gone horribly wrong. He span it over, slowing in, and that sent him back further than he could ever have imagined. He wasn't going to get that. Definitely was aiming for pit entry there, but this car just has gotten slippy under him quite a few times. He might... Oh, that's a big hit on the rear as well. That's unbelievable. It looks like he was consigning himself to losing the stage as soon as he got past, but I mean, that might eat up the fast repair as well before the stage break. That's unbelievable.
That is a big problem for Matt Perosini, and that is going to spell absolute disaster on his race. Plus, he's pitting under green. Here comes Sean Bradley, though, right behind him. Now, can Sean Bradley nail the pit? Ooh, he gets wiggly under braking, but he is able to get that car slowed down, and he's now in as well. So, not able to make it to the stage, it appears, which is going to make things very interesting. Also, we're very lucky that Matt Perosini did not cause the caution there. Tyler Ruielas into the pits as well. Yeah, it's interesting to see these cars coming in now that did not pit under that first caution.
Another interesting thing I've just noticed is that I think Perosini and Hyatt are working as teammates in this race. I, with my little eye, can see them both in their own little private little voice channel, not with the rest of the drivers. Why would you do that if not to communicate with someone? You can work as a team here. It's not a super speedway, but you enter and leave the pits with someone. You sort of work with them. That's better than running completely solo when you're going to need to green flag stop, as all these people that missed their stop are now slowly peeling in one by one. Perosini's gonna hope to get them back on the next stage, but he's now a lap down, and Al Corey is the first one set up for the free pass. That mistake on pit lane costing him dearly, as doesn't look like many other people that have stopped under green here are losing their lap.
Not at all here. The only people left to stop is, of course, that little corgi, that Tennessee Storm Chaser, Ryan Hyatt. And, of course, it is going to be Michael McCuskey here in the back of this 4-car train that is our other person that needs to stop under this green flag run as we continue on. Lap 18 of 80 we go, and the field has started to spread out a little bit. They have started to kind of breathe a little bit is really what we're looking at, and that's what's really getting us together here. Look at the pit stints here on the bottom. You can see Hyatt, McCuskey, and actually Phillips as well there in 8th place. Still need to stop, but you can see that they're running pretty decent. They're doing pretty well here. We continue along. We continue our times in, and I'm really just trying to figure out who is going to win this stage here. I don't think Hyatt can make it to the stage. Unless he thinks he can make it to the stage.
I think Gresh is lined up to take this, and he has gone for the pass. Hyatt not putting up too much of a defense. He's going to dive into the pits quite soon. Possible explanation for drivers getting loose here, by the way. Last time this league ran the next gens, there was a lot of criticism about the setups. Triple bypass runs fixed setups. No one quite likes these. Oh, it's a nice race down the pit road. Not into the wall, buddy. He just said. Did he just send McCuskey into the wall while braking onto the green flag pit stop? I'll get to that point in a minute. That's going to be controversial, I think. I mean, the league likes to be a little bit hands-off with its moderation, but that was a weird move.
I think McCuskey sent it way too hard into the pits, and him and Hyatt just had a little bit of a how would James say it? A ta-ta-ta is how it would be said. I think they just had a little bit of a coming together here. We'll get a quick replay actually of that, because that was a lot to see for those two coming through.
A little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit
making it in.
Better of a replay here. Here's Hyatt coming through. You can see that 25 was trying to pull a cheeky little pass, locks up, and then bumps.
Oh, he isn't sent in. I've been told that I'm not allowed to race people into pit lane before. Just saying. That's another car that's lost it on pit entry there. That looks like Carter Phillips. And he struggled to make it twice. And I think just that failure, that reversal on the track, has triggered a caution. Oh, these green flag pit stops are devastating. He makes it onto the racing surface. You're the one that explained this to me. He gets passed on the track when stopped. That triggers the caution flag. Everybody is making a real hand of these green flag pit stops.
This is going to be a very, very stressful time for all involved. If you have made a green flag pit stop, if your name is, well, not Ryan Hyatt or Charles Woods, they're still on the lead lap. If you're Al Corey, Matt Parasini, Matt Harmon, Tyler Orielis, Rick Ellison here as well. No, he is multiple laps down. So it looks like, as we stand, it is going to be a very, very interesting one. I think Al Corey is our first car lap down. No, Phillips. Sorry, Carter Phillips is our first car lap down, it appears.
Just about beat him on the pit lane, then.
He should get the wave around. That's going to make things interesting. Let's see if anyone decides to pit here.
It depends on if iRacing gave him a loss of control on pit entry, because if you're given incident points that cause the caution, you don't get the wave around. We're not sure whether Carter got a iRacing certified loss of control. We'll just have to see which car makes it around the pack, really. Should be Carter Phillips, but if he got that loss of control 2x, it'll be Al Corey.
I would be surprised if he didn't get the 2x there, because he was stopped on the track and backed up. I will be very surprised if he did not get the 2x. We'll find out here very shortly as we pace around this Indianapolis Speedway. And I tell you what, Howie, let's see if we can't find a driver to chat with for a minute. Let's see who we've got available.
Do we have our sponsor?
That is what I was getting ready to say. Do you see our sponsor anywhere?
I am double checking. Number 32, Marty Rogers. I don't think he's around today. He's made a sponsorship for the event, but looks like he can't make it to the race. How about we catch up with Parasini if all possible? I think there's a bit to talk about.
Yeah, let's see if we can grab Parasini here. We'll wait till the pit stop cycle is done, and you see a lot of cars driving down that pit lane here as they stand. Look at the sea of cars through the pit lane. There's Al Corey getting his wave around. There is Al Corey getting his wave around. We come through. Here's Waltrip into the pits. And no, it's not Waltrip, it's Gresh. But doggone it, every time I see that Napa Know-How car, I have to call it the Waltrip car. Also, it says Waltrip on the back. Give me a break, people. Elton Wu in. See that left side up? And there we go. We got a Paul Crewman. And nice and smooth through. But yeah, let's bring in our wonderful friend, Mr. Matt Parasini, because it looks like Matt Parasini is in the pits here. So let's find him, let's grab him, let's get this conversation going. If I can find him, that is the $1 million question.
He's a channel down, yeah.
Matt Parasini, sir. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
How, I'm scared to ask, but how are we feeling?
No comment.
You're not the only one that has made that mistake so far.
It just, you know what? I got on the brakes and it just locked the rears up, and then at that point you're just chasing it. So it is what it is. We're getting the damage fixed. Take some tires. Try to get back on the lead lap here when the stage caution comes out, and then just try to make our way back to the front.
Quite a few people have made mistakes on that pit entry, and that was actually what triggered the caution. Brad, you got a question?
Yeah, how's your plan going to be beyond this? I know you're getting the damage repaired, you're getting things going. How does this shape your goals for this race here today? Because you were running up front for a bit.
Well, I mean, we've won the first race of the season, so at this point, all that matters to me is winning races and trying to accrue playoff points. So we're going to do everything we can to get ourselves back up front and try to win the race somehow. I mean, we've got the car to do it. This Tennessee Storage Chasers car is extremely fast, so we should be able to do it. I'm pretty confident in it.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine with it, Matt. I'm going to drop you back down with that corgi, that dog, Mr. Hyatt. I'm going to let you get things running. Any final comments before I drop you back down?
No, just thanks very much again to Marty for doing the broadcast and donating his broadcast to Hyatt's relief efforts there for Hurricane Helene and those people in North Carolina and all those people that were affected. And, if anybody can drop $5 or $10 towards that fundraiser, that'd be great, because any little bit helps those people. So
absolutely, Matt. And hopefully we'll be talking to you later. I'm going to drop you back down. Good luck for the rest of your race, sir.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You know, he sounds pretty relaxed, all things considered, at this point.
It's a long race, a lot up ahead. I'm going to try and speed on what I was going to say about the setups. They didn't like the iRacing-based setups last time they ran this. They had a specialty setup shop actually come in and make new fixed setups for this league. Now, a lot of setup shops, they make their cars a little bit looser because looser is faster. If you can't get on top of that, it might really mess you up on the track, as we've seen a few times.
That is very true, and a loose car is a fast car, but it's a scary car, and real quick, Howie, what lap is our stage break on again? Just remind me.
It's lap 30. This is going to be a very short dash to finish, and the pit lane's pretty much going to be closed for almost the whole length of it.
5-lap shootout. Not quite a green-white checkered, just a little bit longer than a green-white checkered, but I'm sure the drivers are going to push it hard here. Sean Bradley up in the front, and you've got Ryan Hyatt there in second place. Cameron Kane in third, and Charles Woods there in fourth. That high line, Hyatt and Woods, I would expect them to get a run, but don't count out Kyle Gresh there in fifth place. Third car on your inside line. They're going to bring it around, and I see Affleck going through that 037 of Cameron Kane is going to be ready to party. Safety car is going to peel off. Pace car is going to peel off. Wow, not a safety car. It's a pace car. You can tell that I've commentated some road racing today. We come down, Geico restart zone, and Sean Bradley has the run, and surprisingly not taking off near now. Never mind, he gets a better run there. And watch Hyatt there on the high line trying to make his way through early on. Down into 1 and 2 we go. Where we stop, nobody knows. Cameron Kane is going to get ahead of Ryan Hyatt. Ryan Hyatt stuck on the high line there, and that is going to be Woods through as well. Can Kyle Gresh make his way through the inside, or can Hyatt defend that off of 2? We go down the backstretch, and you see that the 98 is down low. Ryan Hyatt staying high, and Waltrip and Gresh trying to follow him through here.
A nice, clean start from the pack again, but Kane is right on Sean Bradley this time. Still no clean getaway. These restarts have been harder for people to nail than that initial start. It looks like the person in second's been quite good at calling the restart. Usually these zones give you a lot of control to make that decision for yourself. They're about to go 3 wide behind as they try and just about hold on to this lead pack. Keeping it inside, Gresh there. That's the better line to have around it, but neither of them quite have the optimal. It's just sometimes a bit of a race to the bottom around this track. You're really trying to race to get that preferred groove. That outside line doesn't leave you with much to go with, but it makes the battles all the more interesting. You've got to spend a bit more time to set it up.
Absolutely. Hyatt got loose there off of 2. Makes his life a little more interesting here as we continue along. And here we go. Down the inside goes Woods. Hyatt's up high. He gets a little wiggly. Gresh is going to look low here in the 27. Kyle Gresh going to slide it out of 3 down into 4. He has the inside line. Hyatt's still pinned on the high line. And Ryan Hyatt having an abysmal restart. But Gresh gets a little loose. Hyatt's going to drop low. There is Goff back in the back. Alex Goff going for a run. You see now diving out. That is going to be Hollingsworth there. And that number 17 looking through lap 27 out of 80. Stage break at 30 here in 3 laps. We continue along. Side by side they go. Where they stop, nobody knows. The Taco Bell car getting a little bit loose there. And now everyone's got to check up, get around here. There goes Hyatt to the inside. That was Alex Goff there in that number 00 Taco Bell getting a little loose there. Man, Taco Bell sounds good right now. Let's go 3 wide, boys. Oh, they're in the wall in the background. Big wreck in the background. I believe that is Ward Fisher.
Oh, Ward straight off into the grass there. All the way down into the wall. I don't think he was involved in the first wreck, but a lot of people have burned through their fast repairs very early. Why do I say we're not going to have a caution fest? We're going to have a caution fest all day long, I think, as he catches the 333 of Angel Resendez. Hope I got that one right. After just getting loose into the wall, off the wall. Oh, it sucks to be in that position. Dumped right out of the end of the stage as we approach that one, crossing to pace car. Oh, was that Pericini again?
That was
I'm
Rick.
not sure.
That was Rick Ellison, and let's actually ride on board with Rick Ellison for this one because that was a hard little hit, and I'm curious how that happened. Let's ride with Rick here. You see, he's in 5th gear. He's throttle. He's checking up. He's checking up. He's there, and
4 laps. Oh, the car just does not stop. I mean, Slowing at the first sign of danger is often the first thing you're told to do, but these cars are just proving today that they are not stopping at all. You have to make evasive action like you're avoiding a deer in the middle of a road, I think, at this stage. These brakes have just failed so many people so far. We're going to see more green flag pit stops as the next stage comes on. We are going to hit the end of this stage, though, under caution, meaning Sean Bradley wins it, takes home 10 points. It's 10 through 9 points down to the top 10 and 2 playoff points as well to the winner.
Yeah, Sean Bradley could celebrate that one very, very well. Let's see. Pit lane open. Sean Bradley's out. Cameron Kane's out. Everyone from Charles Woodback is going to just go ahead and make this pit lane a little bit busy. Here we go through. And Sean Bradley and Cameron Kane faked it. Look at that. They faked it through. They're all in. Look at the sea of stock cars bring their way in.
It makes sense to get loaded up right now. Usually the pit lane would close this close to the end of a stage, but this caution has changed the pace a lot. That's Al Corey there in the back, who's going to make up a lot of positions on his very, very poor start. He's going to get to start this stage on the front row, and I was wrong on calling the winner because it is Michael McCuskey, unless someone else stops. He's actually going to take home these points. He's not been a winner so far in this season, but the points are points, and we've already had a few duplicate winners, and that opens up places in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how they decide to call it. They might call it that at the caution is the stage. So if they do that, then our original winner stands here. We'll have to see how it gets called if they're feeling mighty nice to Sean Bradley, but you never know as we go through. While we hit this lap 30 under caution, big shout out to Marty Rogers for being today's race sponsor, and a big shout out to Marty Rogers for naming today's race the Hurricane Helene Relief Effort Tennessee Storm Chaser series here, the TSC Hurricane Helene Relief Effort. There is a link in the description for a GoFundMe by the series sponsor Ryan Hyatt, who is looking to raise money to buy 275-gallon water containers to distribute them to the affected areas there in the Appalachia in eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina, around that Asheville area and those sections of Appalachia that have been impacted so hard by once in a eon flooding that came from that. So if you do have the $5, the $10, the $1, anything that you can give helps, go to the GoFundMe and donate. It is greatly appreciated from all of us here, especially myself as a American who that is only a couple hour jaunt from me, and seeing that destruction is crazy. So big shout out to everyone there for that as we pace our way around here. Lap 30 now on the books for McCuskey under caution. We are 1 to green for McCuskey, with Corey in second place.
It's a 50-lap sprint now. We're going to need more pit stops, and looking at the way these drivers have struggled around here, we're probably going to need more cautions. Why do I call anything around here if I'm going to get it so wrong? Al Corey, difficult start to the race, but he's picked up stage points off the back of this, and he has a prime position now to take control of this race and get that win, and you're in. McCuskey, though, that leader gets a lot of control around it. There's still a long way to go and a lot that can happen. I think that pit lane is yet again going to be a hive of activity no matter what. Behind them, Herzog, Wu, and Crumray. How do you say that? I'm making an embarrassment of myself. Can't do it.
Crumray.
I got it right. Nailed it. Made up 23 positions. Started around the back, but he's got a front row view. Bit of a long pace lap here, but that race is going to start sooner than we know it, so I should stop waffling.
Nah, you are fine to waffle on. Here we go, and tell you what, a waffle sounds good right now. I could go for a nice fluffy waffle, or go to Waffle House, get yourself a Reese's waffle. It's peanut butter, chocolate chips, and whipped cream on top if you so desire. I don't like the whipped cream, but some people do. We come
Wonder
off
if they
of
closed. Wonder if they closed. When Waffle House closes, you know the natural disaster is bad. I'm figuring a lot of Waffle Houses probably closed in the vicinity of Tennessee.
Yes, they are. It's kind of scary. And there's actually a website you can check that, because Waffle House makes all that info public, and they cooperate with FEMA fun facts for you, putting my college degree to use here, but that's not why we're here. We're here to see this 50 race shootout here with McCuskey and Corey leading off the front row. Al Corey is going to be a force to be reckoned with here as we get the screen flag going and we go through. Al Corey finds himself in that second place with Herzog and Hollingsworth there. I see Wu, Sean Bradley, Kyle Gresh, and Dorr in the mix as well. And I tell you what, Michael McCuskey said, you know what, I want no part in any of this. I'm just going to go ahead and take off. They come off of turn 1, nice and pretty, single file to go down into turn 2 they go, and it's so weird to say into turn 2 because there is the little short chute in the middle. Exit off of 2, everybody's away pretty well as we continue along here. McCuskey in the lead, Hollingsworth through. Herzog trying to hold on to a place here, may not be able to hold on to that place though, as he is on the high line. That is not the line you want to be at, and we see up the inside goes Crumry. There we go. I've said that 5 different ways this broadcast, and I'm going to stick with Crumry for the rest of the broadcast. Al Corey now dropping a place here as we continue along. Lap 31 in the books, and we continue to move and groove.
Al Corey's dropped like a stone. He's gone straight from the front row all the way down to 5th. Hollingworth and Wu making up very nice gains off the back of this, but McCuskey's had a pretty good launch. I say this almost like a curse, as Hollingworth is very, very close to making that battle right now into the corners. Lot to make up for Al, I think, but I think Hollingworth's going to make this move sooner rather than later. He almost stuck his nose up the inside on the last turn, didn't quite get it done. With a little bit of pace differential, you can sort of force yourself under someone here. Still not the case. It's a 4-car train now at the front of the field. I see McCuskey running really, really wide in these corners. It's safer, but he's going to get that inner line taken away from him if he doesn't wisen up very, very soon. Side draft on these cars is so powerful. They pull the car next to them behind them if they get up alongside. So there's lots of ways for Hollingsworth to get on by right now.
Yeah, I don't think they're done at all as they go through here. McCuskey and Hollingsworth, they're going to continue to just battle it out very, very close. And it's going to be close now. Let's look at it here because McCuskey, Hollingsworth trying to break that toe, trying to pull that IndyCar run, break that toe around, not able to do so at the moment. But here we go around now. 3 wide we stay.
Hollingsworth's losing out big. He keeps going wide. He's given up another position. He could concede a 4th one here on the road. He's not hitting his marks on the inside. This is a track where you really have to hit all 4 marks perfectly, or you just get track position taken away from you. We just saw him lose another to Gretsch there in the back. And you could just see some of these cars washing up wide and really paying the ultimate price.
I think that's the difference in pitting. McCuskey, remember, did not pit under that last caution at our quote-unquote stage break. So that is, I think, really what's starting to hurt McCuskey. Even though this track is not tire-dependent, not tire-heavy, and isn't something that's going to absolutely ruin you if you don't have the tires, it does make a difference here as we continue along. Here we go, Gresh up the inside, and Crumry on the high line, and there we go with McCuskey. He's now getting a little feisty. He's got Sean Bradley for company back behind. Here we go around lap 35 going on the board, and what of these drivers is going to be ahead? Well, Hollingsworth is ahead of Elton Wu by 0.3 of a second, continuing to pull time. These 4 are going to be right here, nice in a close distance. This front battle is not settled out yet, though. Hollingsworth driving nice and smooth, Wu staying right in the mix. McCuskey now losing a position to Sean Bradley up the inside, and McCuskey again just dropping Sean Bradley right there. Oh, almost a little tap. They avoid each other by millimeters, coming out of 2. There it is, Sean Bradley with the run.
I think Sean Bradley has impressed me the most so far this race. There's been a lot of wild swings, drivers from the front flying to the back. But I've always, maybe it just stands out, but I've always seen that pink car competing at the very front. Hollingsworth started this race in pole position as well. Got to give credit to him for sticking that out at the start of this run. Whereas Crumray has made up 25 places from the start, really taking advantage of some of this chaos. Al Corey wanted to recover from that rough start, but I think on this one, he only has himself to blame for any of these positions being lost. I don't think that there's truly any accidents in this. He's just dropping position. Something about his strategy hasn't gone right, and the pace isn't there.
Parasini with a tap on the wall there. He's going to try to save it from the grass. He comes out. Is he going to hold on to the car as they exit out of 2? Well, it looks like at the moment, I think Parasini kept it together. He did, but he is going to drop all the way to the back of the field there. He had a little bit of a slide there into, thankfully able to keep it together and not, come back up into the track. He could have really caused a big one there, but Parasini dropping around. Al Corey, as you said, again, a driver that didn't stop. He's sitting there. He's got Herzog for company right behind. He's in P8. He's at risk of going out of the top 10. And here goes Ryan Hyatt, really putting some pressure down on Dorr.
For a long time, Parasini had the fastest lap. Now it's Kyle Gretsch with the fastest lap on the field, and he's got it by over 1/10 of a second, making a statement of intent and wanting to get back up to the front of this field. Parasini's going to have to rely on some absolute chaos with that second big mistake. I'm amazed he kept it together and off the racing surface, to be honest, but the points are not going to come home as we come up on halfway on this race. There's still room for chaos, but if there's one thing there isn't room for here, I think it's heroic charges. This track very much sort of designed around a different sort of racing. You can make up positions, you can battle people, but sometimes in oval racing you see people make these unbelievable charges up the field. I think it's very much a consistency track as Gretsch makes up his P2. He absolutely is going to showing himself as the fastest on this track right now. He could challenge for P1.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised if Gretsch does. Again, Kyle Gretsch, the one that organized the Indy 500 around here in Triple Bypass, and if memory serves right, the one that won the Indy 500. Now, of course, that's in the IndyCar. That's not called the IndyCar anymore in iRacing, but the IndyCar itself. So, there's some big differences, but I say all that to say Kyle Gretsch knows his way around this Indianapolis circuit as he sets out his chase for Hollingsworth, and they are coming up on a lap car, and they will be lapping a car, putting a car lap down. What will that bring? Here we go. We're on board with Gretsch. He's going to peel to the inside of Hollingsworth. Is this going to give him a run into turn 1? We look, and there it is. New leader, Kyle Gretsch, lap 39 of 80.
I think you'll be happy to know that they are allowed to call it IndyCar in iRacing now when they got the license back last year. Kyle Gretsch, fastest lap on the field, currently best on strategy, still room for pit stops to mess things up, but as a real statement of intent, as I said on this race, he is absolutely charging and he wants this win under his belt. Doesn't have one yet. When you're into the playoffs, it puts so much pressure off your shoulders.
Yeah, and that is the big goal here, of course. Get those playoff points. Get set up for the playoffs. Make it where you don't need to worry about winning or having a bad race. Having a night like Parasini, you can, have that off night and not have as much pressure placed. But, of course, as we cross halfway race distance, lap 40 of 80 on the boards, you got to survive to make it there. And that is the big question of the night. Who's going to survive to the end? Who is the most consistent to the end? And as it stands right now, yet again, I am telling you, Kyle Gretsch looks very smooth. This top 5 looks very comfortable. Sean Bradley looks scary fast, and we continue our way through as they go around. Here we stand into turn 3, and the drivers look like they are just ready to do this all night, but not actually all night. They're going to do this for another 40 laps.
We're starting to see these drivers that didn't make their most recent stop really start to fall back now. We've mentioned Michael McCuskey not taking the recent stop, and Al Corey as well, losing another position. He's back where he started in P9.
And
this tire advantage. And there is another pit entry gone horribly wrong. Maybe it's just cursed whenever I speak. It's Michael McCuskey. Was a contender to finish high in this race, even if he lost a few positions. But he's had to tow. He destroyed the whole engine on pit entry. Nobody's getting this one right at all. That's a lengthy tow. Unless there's more chaos, I could take him out of this race entirely.
I don't think he was trying to pit. I think he just bumped the wall on the exit of 4, and it slung him to the inside. I don't think he was intending to pit. Let's look at that one more time from one more different angle.
That would make the second person that's accidentally made it. Yep, he just washes wide, and it absolutely... You see that big plume of smoke in iRacing when the engine is expired. He's done, I think, the most pit stops, so I'm not sure if he even has a repair left in him, whether it was burned earlier. These cars are notoriously durable, but a second repair on the engine, you're just taking out the race for good. Drivers now working to bunch up the pack and get to the pace cars, a number one priority before we figure out position and passing. Fresh is going to leave this restart, but it's a reset of the pack. It's another chance for stops. It's another chance for chaos.
And I would expect a lot of these drivers to come into the pits here. Al Corey last pit stop was on lap 22. He's sitting in 8th place. A lot of the other drivers last pit stop lap 28. So I would expect most everyone to be in the pits. Matt Parasini last pit stop on lap 36. He may stay out. And same with Tyler Ruielas last pit stop lap 35. He may stay out. But I tell you what, I do want to get us into the pits here. And then I want to talk to the Tennessee Storm Chaser head organizer himself, Ryan Hyatt, once he can get his way in. I want to talk about... I would
say, look at Parasini. He actually stopped after his little spin on the side of the track. If everyone stops now, he ends up with track position.
Yeah, and he is still on the lead lap, so could be a very, very interesting moment for Parasini as he's still trying to get caught up to the pack here. Pit lane is open, and I tell you what, pit lane is busy here as we see everyone coming in. We'll go to the second pit lane camera. This tends to be the better camera to show who's in, who's out. Everybody's in. Look at that leaderboard. Everybody is in.
It's Parasini as well. Only 2 drivers staying out there, I see, and they might both be lapped. The entire lead lap is in. Do you want to bring in Ryan Hyatt? I'll let you pick the timing for that one.
Yeah, let's make sure Ryan Hyatt's in his box stationary here. As soon as he is, we'll grab him. We'll catch a quick chat with Ryan Hyatt. We'll talk a little bit about the Tennessee Storm Chasers' goal here with bringing stuff in. Ryan Hyatt.
Yes, sir.
How are you feeling, sir?
Feeling squirrely.
Feeling squirrely? I like the
This
sound
is a
of that.
race that's been defined by pit entry, hasn't it, really, more than anything else at this stage.
Yeah, it's been that, well, at least under green it has been.
Ryan, I want to talk to you for a second about Tennessee Storm Chasers and this relief effort you're putting through.
Hang on, avoiding the car on the backstretch. Okay, never mind.
Oh,
okay, sorry.
That?
What was that?
I was going to say, I want to talk to you for a moment about this relief effort we're putting through getting these water jugs in for North Carolina, if you wanted to kind of give a little bit of the background on that here.
Yeah, so Tex Nichols, who I believe is in the race tonight, he said, hey, if anybody knows how to get a hold of these, we kind of need them down here. And I was like, well, I've got a lot of family in the area that's been affected because my grandpa, he's from Waynesville, and that's about 30, 40 minutes west of Asheville. And so I've been down there my whole life doing family reunions and stuff. So I was like, well, you know what? I was like, better to help those down there who need the water, at least to be able to kind of use the bathroom and stuff like that, and figured that would be a big help. But now it sounds like they actually are getting a water station set up, so I'm going to have to be figuring out what else could be beneficial to those down there.
Yeah, I know it's a big effort through, Ryan. How much are you looking to raise? What are we looking to do? Obviously, as you said, figure out what else is there. I know the GoFundMe mentions that any additional proceeds will get donated on and along. How much are you looking to gain out of this?
I mean, just anything really helps. I don't really have a target. I figured the 400 would cover about 8 or so of those totes, and I got 6 down there last weekend. So now I'm just kind of trying to figure out what's next, like what would be more beneficial.
And Ryan,
go ahead. Sorry about that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was thinking whether it be like go wipe out a Goodwill or something like that with all these different sizes of clothes and take them down there, because when I was down there were a ton of donation places, grocery stores that it seemed like had a long line of people. I'm assuming they were getting donated food. I saw a lot of tents with like clothes and food, so it's just trying to figure out what's best down there.
Absolutely. And Ryan, it's amazing to see you putting in the effort to get that moving forward. We're going into turn 3 here, and it looks like we're about to go back green. You're on the front row. Good luck, my friend. I'm going to drop you back down with Matt Parasini, okay?
All right, thank you, man.
Thank you. It's amazing to see the effort put in there, Howie. And I tell you what, we get Ryan Hyatt on the front row with Sean Bradley, so this is going to be a fun one to see.
Bradley and Hyatt making it back again. I mean, that was a real win on pit exit, I think, for Hyatt. Went from not necessarily competing all the way back up to the front here for the Storm Chasers. Bradley does it again. Keeps it up front. He's been the most consistent driver of the day so far, at the very least.
It's going to be a very, very hard restart. Let's see how this goes through as Sean Bradley's coming down, and Hyatt's going to want to look for the jump there. Goff and Benson in the second row, and again, Gresh starting in the top 5. There's some bump in there from the inside line. It looks like nobody really got going when they expected Sean Bradley to go, but we're back underway here, and we're getting things going with Sean Bradley not in the pits, even though it's showing him in the pits. We'll get that leaderboard refixed here in just a moment. We go around, a little bit of a wiggle there from everyone up in the front as they go through. This is Ryan Hyatt going through in second place. Alex Goff there in third, continuing along. And it is Benson and Goff there in fourth place. We haven't said a lot about Jason Benson today, but he's managed to find his way in the top 3. And of course, behind them, starting with Hollingsworth, Gresh, we got a lot of 2x2 action going around.
Yeah, I've had enough of calling people that have made it up loads of positions when so much crazy stuff seems to keep happening in this race, and we still do more in the pit lane. Interesting that Sean Bradley, I think, has gotten the first truly good race restart. They've all been decent, but very often they've sort of left a bit of room, driver in behind in the draft. Sean Bradley has very much broken that. If you're outside of half a second, it's so much harder to make up that difference, and you can see the gap between him, the car behind, and then the whole pack just chasing up. Bradley has made an absolute masterclass of that restart as we watch on board here with... I'm bad at the names, I better get this one right. It is Hollingsworth making his position back. Has also been running near the front, and has another chance to renew here.
And they continue around here. Let's jump on board with Kyle Gresh, who is trying to run this inside line on Hollingsworth if he can make it stick. And then I want to look behind him with Elton Wu. Elton Wu has the best view in the house for this battle between Gresh and Hollingsworth as they go through. But of course, Elton Wu on that outside line has a bit of company as well as they keep pushing their way through. Things are getting very, very feisty. There's the power of the draft. This is that draft we've talked about. This is what it causes. And now they come through into 1 and 2. Side by side they go. Where they stop, nobody knows. But Kyle Gresh will be on the outside here and will drop another place. Look, oh, we're going to go 3 wide. That's very, very, very dangerous to do here on the corners. Down the straightaway, you can get away with it, but in the corners trying to go 3 wide, not at all what I recommend, but they managed to make it stick and go through. We're back side by side here as they continue along.
What did I say? If gap car, leave a lot of space on the inside, and that's free real estate for you to take, I think, in a race like this. This is such an interesting run because every single driver is on the same tyres. We've got no strategy differential whatsoever. So this is a pure racecraft race here. The drivers that are pushing their way up are doing it on pace alone. They're going to try and really burn through them, I think, to try and make the absolute best before they make their pit stops, whether it's green or yellow.
Remember, these drivers only have 3 sets of tires to make this full race. So if they are on that 3rd set, which I can't say if they are or aren't, but if they are running through on like a 3rd set of tires or anything, and they don't have anything left, they got to be a little smooth here. Still tons of racing left in this run. 32 laps of racing left here around this Indianapolis track, and plenty of miles to go. Here we go. Hollingsworth in 4th place is going to look up the inside of Benson if he can make this stick on the exit of 4. It looks like he is going to have a bit of a run here, but Kyle Gresh might start to make this a bit more complicated. Sean Bradley has pulled out 1.3 seconds on Ryan Hyatt. Ryan Hyatt's pulled out 1 second on Hollingsworth and Benson. There you see him just ahead. There we go up the inside with Hollingsworth on Benson, and Kyle Gresh all the way down against that grass is trying to feed his way through as well. He's going to feed his way through the inside of Benson here through turn 2. If he can make it stick, and he is going to make it stick there on the exit of 2. He clears himself up. Now he's going to try to chase down Hollingsworth yet again.
Gresh is really chasing for that top 3. We're seeing the side draft in so much action in these cars. It's sort of has an impact in all stock cars, but these with the massive aero and the massive dirty air they call, you put up side by side with someone on a long straight and you just slow them down, and by extension that makes you faster in comparison. We've seen so many drivers go side by side on the straights, and if you just have a bit of a pace differential, get alongside, you end up winning going into that corner. The best drivers around here are the ones that know how to use that aero. Or, like Sean Bradley, can just get it perfectly off the line at 1.5 seconds now. The gap nearly unassailable unless there's mistakes.
Yeah, and remember, we still have 30 laps to go, and with the rate of cautions we've had this race, I hate to say it, and if one happens now in the next couple of seconds, it's not my fault, but with the rate that cautions have went in and out and around and side by side here, it doesn't mean that cautions aren't possible, especially when you got drivers right here like Fisher, Kane, and Herzog that have been absolutely pushing each other and running hard through this race. 30 laps to go. We continue along. Here is Hollingsworth with Gresh. Gresh gets loose. Gresh gets very loose off of the exit of 4 and has to back out of it. But man, talk about car control. Keeping that car under control, exiting there down the straightaway. But Gresh will lose touch with Hollingsworth.
Dare I say that was almost the big one. These little slides are going to put a lot of heat into the tyres as well, and heat in the tyres makes the next corners not quite work for you, and this might be a part of why Gresh looks like he's getting caught from behind. Wu making up places as well, has been running quite strongly ever since he made it up into the top 6, still looking to keep all of those points intact.
And he's doing a pretty good job of trying to keep all those points intact. I do want to pan back here to Michael Seymour, who is running with Emmert in 10th and 11th, and they were swerving around that backstretch, trying to break that draft just a little bit, trying to get some sort of a getaway if they could. Now, look at this top 5. They're starting to condense. They're starting to compress. They're starting to come together a little bit. This is going to give us...
All of this battling is giving Bradley more and more to work with. The gap now is approaching 2 seconds. No point even looking at how dominant that run is. He reminds me of a certain Kyle Larson from NASCAR today. Ha! Topical references. Running up front, running his race perfectly. Will take something wild to unseat that, but don't discount the wild, especially on pit entry.
Honestly, though, that's something you just want. You literally, when you're in, you just want to be running your own race when you're up front. You don't want to think about the car behind. You don't want to worry about the car behind. You just need to hit your marks and bring this thing home. And oh, Hyatt taps the wall here. Hollingsworth up the inside. Kyle Gresh is going to follow him through. And is Crumry going to... Crumry. I'll say that about 5 times, and I'm going to mess it up again the next time I try to say his name. Is Mr. Crumry going to follow up the inside as well? He is. Hyatt dropping 3 places by the time they can exit turn 1. They continue around. Crumry looking a little swirly, a little loose there in that number 10, but is able to keep it going. And Hyatt now in 5th place needs to dig himself back forward if he can.
I think these triple bypass guys could make a race at the centripetal circuit exciting. No matter what we bring at them, they keep bringing the battling up this grid. I can't count on any of these positions right now staying as they are. They've just been so much back and forth between them. This neutralization of the tyre game in the last caution has really, really brought out the talent in these drivers. This is so fascinating. We're seeing more too wide, back to back down the straight, going into these corners. It's whoever has that inside line. That's a big backing out going. Oh, he does have the pace. I just thought for a second Benson wouldn't quite have the pace, but we see a slide behind. He's just about saved it. Looks like Matt Harmon back there. And Corey taking advantage of this to make up some important positions he's been looking for. Usually an absolute top runner, but this season across triple bypass has been a struggle.
Yeah, and we do see those moments out. Corey will always have those moments of absolute spectacular racing, but sometimes things happen here. But he's in a good position. He finds himself inside the top 10 where he wants to be. Harmon now behind him, getting that pass on Emmert, who had that moment a second ago. Harmon getting a little swirly. This top 10 really battling it out and continuing through. This is the battle for P11 on your screen. 3 wide they go down the front stretch as they dive into turn 1. Here we go. Who's going to concede? It is the middle car there of Harmon. He says, you know what? I want no part of that. He says, I'm gonna back it out. Let's go back into double file racing. I'll figure it out here down the back stretch. But you can see, let's look up here, because what do I see? Hollingsworth and Gresh are within a second of Sean Bradley. Sean Bradley's starting to lose a little bit of pace.
They say a lot of oval racing is about concentration. They say it's about the fact that it gets very repetitive doing these turns over and over. And so, you know, you might have a lapse in your concentration and miss it a little bit. But this track's more exhausting than most, because you don't just have to do it twice a lap. You have to do it perfectly 4 times a lap. And 2 of those are so important. It could be very possible there's a little bit of a lapse in concentration, or maybe burning the tyres harder in order to stay ahead has slowed down Bradley, but we can see that gap closing up and up. It's now half a second. It keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and Gresh has to be watching this as well. This is a proper top 3 battle. They've escaped from Crumray behind.
25 laps to go. Hollingsworth is now in that slipstream, that draft distance, where he's going to start getting some advantage of being this close. And you can hear Sean Bradley, he is having to really feather out of the throttle through turn 3. And he's doing it again through turn 4. He's having to really lift, really pulse the throttle to make sure that car gets around. And here we go. This is going to be the big move for Hollingsworth. If he can make this stick, he's going to go up the inside across the line. They go side by side, but it is going to be a new leader into turn 1. Hollingsworth will get past Sean Bradley with 24 to go. Sean Bradley is now on the back burner of this run, and he needs to find a way back through. He's going to fight him back into turn 2. He's going to try to duck and nose up the inside. He's not close enough, and Kyle Gresh in the back, he smells a possible victory as well. He smells a possible lead, and he's going to just sit right back there behind both of them and follow through.
I think Bradley has destroyed those tyres running up so far ahead. There's no other reason that the pace is this poor all of a sudden. We're approaching that phase of the race now where drivers are going to have to make one more pit stop. Does he bite the bullet now in the next few laps, knowing he's lost too much track position? Or does he think, well, now there's a chance that, you know, I'm burned up by the end of the last run? We're starting to approach that pit window. The smartest drivers would have saved a tyre set for this situation, as Gresh is really hungry looking for that P1. Still the fastest lap. Hollingsworth's held it from pole, but Gresh has been such a hard charger today. And I think he has the aggression. We've seen him make so many great passes, psych people out so far throughout this race. He's due for another.
If they pit within 20 to go, we know they can make it to the end. Am I wrong in saying that?
That sounds right to me. I imagine if they had to stop that early in the first stage, and they don't have fuel for the entire 50-lap stage.
All right, just making sure my math was correct.
Tyler Rulers in the chat says he was on his last set when he retired from the race. So, you know, it depends on how much you've burned through at this stage. It really depends on the strategy play. We'll have to take a look if anyone goes in the pits and so whether those cars go up on the jacks.
Tyler, you spun your car under yellow? I missed something somewhere with Tyler. Oh, I didn't miss that, though, with Kyle Gresh getting real loose off the exit of 2 down the backstretch. Tyler, is this what you did? How did you... I'm not going to ask questions. I'm sorry, Tyler.
One of those days at Indianapolis, I think. I think we've seen enough completely unforced errors today that one of them doesn't stand out. People have been struggling in ways here that they don't usually struggle. And things like pit entry have messed people up. Things like pace cars have messed people up. Things like making it through the corners have messed people up this race. It's part of why it's been so fascinating.
I would absolutely agree.
Gresh doing it again. These cars are so sensitive to dirty air, by the way. So if you're in the wrong place, wrong time, following someone, you're just sent for a slide. It's like Tokyo Drift out there, except heat into tyres means more heat into tyres means more heat into tyres. And before you know it, Sean Bradley's quite far down the road, but more mistakes, and he opens this back up. This is a real battle for the win between a few drivers with only 21 to go, approaching 20. It looks like Hollingsworth got a little loose himself.
Yeah, I think the tires are hitting a check mark on the night. Gresh with a big slide there, but able to catch it. I mean, really, that's all you can ask for, is being able to catch that as we go through. And that dang corgi, Ryan Hyatt, pulling his way into the pits here as we go, and that is going to open up things for several drivers. It's going to start mixing up a lot of strategy and start making a lot of people ask questions here if they're doing the right thing. Woods on the inside here of Slaughter getting his way through. I saw a little bit of a wiggle. I see the Starbucks car in the background as well as they go through. There's the 42 of Benson going up the inside, trying to look around Goff, trying to get his way through. Mr. JC John Campbell finding himself in a very good position. P11 Jeff Slaughter going around the inside here. He is up in a challenge right now for the top 10 as he is trying to look around that 32 of Marty Rogers. And there they go.
There's one thing that Jonathan Campbell does. It is appear out of nowhere after being anonymous for 3/4 of the race and then score top 3 points. I had him pegged as one of my points rivals for the Xfinity Championship, and then he won like 3 in a row, and I was like, okay, that's great. Looks like we're not doing that anymore. Another failed pit entry. He makes it onto the surface. That's the caution coming out. That's going to seriously affect the drivers. He's not going to make the pit lane. Tyler Ruler saying that he was shifting into second gear when he spun. Yeah, that'll do the differential on the back. I wonder if he abandoned that pit entry because of a possible penalty. I'm not sure. Or maybe because when he spins, he starts the caution and then the pit lane's closed. And then he'd get a massive penalty. You're sent to the end of the line for entering like that. That's wild.
Well, and look at all the cars that entered the pits behind him.
I mean, they've made the best of it, really, because they basically have gotten a pit stop under caution before the pack has bunched up. You don't see this often. They close the lane at the start of caution periods, but they basically got a caution period, start of period pit stop. This pack is going to be so shuffled up. Let's not make any stock of this tower until everybody has made their stop, as everybody will need to make their stop now. And we're going to see a pack unlike anything else.
These guys are just making things wild the more and more they go through. We run around here, 18 to go, so we're within fuel, we're within distance. I mean, really, it should be everyone stop here and that be it. We see Kyle Gresh coming through. He is going to catch the pace car. Ryan Hyatt right there with him, who is 1 lap down in P20, but should get a lap back, I believe. So, yeah, no. Don't take stock of anything you see at the moment as we go around, because things are... This is the problem with cautions in the middle of green flag pit stop cycles. Things get really mixed up and really messed up really, really quick. And, you know, you look at it right now, Gresh and Corey and Harmon, your top 3. JC John Campbell, Starbucks car coming out of nowhere in 5th place. So we'll see how that Hyatt stays out.
It is green, so it's obviously Starbucks.
Yeah,
now, yeah, I don't have a commentator's curse in race, but I do have I stop and then the caution comes out in the next 5 laps. Happened in Nashville, actually. Always happens to me. So it's one of those things where, you know, as soon as the run starts, that's where the mistakes start slipping out. Tyres are at their worst there as well, so it's the most likely. Big stack of drivers dropping into the pits, I think. This gives Hollingworth the lead, and he has made his stop. It will be Hollingworth, then Bradley, then Crumry, and then Elton Wu. A few drivers we've seen up front all race making the best of this position.
Well, this just throws everything backwards to everything I thought it would be. And look at Harmon taking 4 tires there. A lot of drivers taking 4 tires, getting in, getting out. Al Corey coming through there. Kyle Gresh first went out. Look at Al Corey there side by side with somebody. I couldn't tell who that was. I think that was actually Harmon. There we go. So Al Corey getting out ahead of Harmon, 8th and 9th place. Kyle Gresh in 7th. A lot of these drivers kept a set of tires, it looks like. I think we're going to be in for an absolute stellar final. It should be a 15-lap run to the end here as we go through, because remember, these top 7 Well, top 6 here. Benson, Goff, Wu, Kremrye, Sean Bradley, and Hollingsworth. They didn't pit just now. They pit at the start of the green flag cycle. They do not have, so they have a couple of laps on their tires. Is that going to play any difference? It's 2 laps under green.
I think it might be marginal, because I think, if it was 2 under green, then they will be affected by that. Some of the people that stopped just going into that caution, the lucky ones. 2 green laps will make a marginal effect, but if we see it, we'll see a heroic charge coming out of the back. Kyle Gresh is the first one on the newest tyres, so don't count out a P7 to P1 run. Is there anyone you want to talk to on this last pace lap?
There's not here on this last pace lap. I'm going to let the drivers...
Yeah, it's not much time. Not much time, of course.
Yeah, I'm going to let the drivers run it through. But look where the number 24 is there. Parasini is right there. Of course, he is now getting the wave around. Lights are out on the caution car. And we are going to go here with Hollingsworth and Bradley in the front row. I feel like we've seen this a couple of times at least. Who has learned what?
How do they keep ending up here no matter the chaos? 2 just unbelievably consistent drivers. Kremrye started 26 places down from where he started, and now he is in perfect position to potentially seize a win as well. And Elton Wu has sort of been out of the top 3 battle, but has been constantly sniping for the front. All of these drivers are strong. All of these drivers are going to produce an absolute thriller, I think. Although cautions could also breed caution. There's so many possibilities. Let's not go through them all. We've got a race to get going with.
Yeah, we go down the backstretch here, and you can see that Hollingsworth is very ready to get this race underway, is pushing, basically, the pace car. Would be pulling Kyle Busch and probably physically pushing the pace car if it was physically together here in iRacing. Of course, if you didn't know that, well, I just gave you your fun spoiler fact of the night that the iRacing car is just kind of a hologram that you can run your way through. I still think for April Fool's one year, they need to just change that and make it where it's solid and not tell anyone, and just push like a emergency patch for April Fool's and see how many drivers do that and run into the pace car. We'll see if that ever happens, though. Coming out of turn 4 here, pace car will pull off, and it will be Sean Bradley and Mr. J.R. Hollingsworth that will be leading us off into this run. Into the Geico restart zone will be Hollingsworth, and I just heard someone tap the wall in the background. And no, we have waved off the... Oh! Herzog in the background. What was...
Yeah, that's going to be an extended caution as Herzog loses it into the... I'm not sure how that one happens. We think we get an extra couple laps under caution because of this. Was it a dodgy shift?
Oh, something happened in front of him with Slaughter. I heard a couple of cars hit each other, and I couldn't tell where it happened. And it started with Slaughter here.
There was a little bit of netcode there as well. You see that car phasing out of existence, and then he just slides off the back of him. Nothing like a poltergeist in Indianapolis to really spice up your caution period.
Not at all what you want to see, but that will bring us around. One more pace lap here. So for Sean Bradley, one more little quick breath to kind of reset yourself here as they come around, and this will give us a true 15-lap run to the end. Hollingsworth will need to be on his P's and Q's as they hit that restart zone. Going down the backstretch, you know, I got to ask, Howie, what would be your thoughts going down the backstretch? You're getting set up for this. If you're Sean Bradley, you know this restart counts. What's your plan here?
Well, you have to wait for Hollingworth to make the call on the start here. You have that zone to look out for. But it's about not letting him get away. If you get close enough to him, if you're watching him like a hawk, you can get within that half a second, you can win this race. If you let him get away and just run it out by a second, then he could secure this one in the bag. All to play for.
All to play for indeed as we come through turn 3. Pace car this time should peel off. I hope we will see what happens, though, as nothing is ever guaranteed here in the world of iRacing. Coming through turn 4 now, pace car still looks like it's going to peel off. We're not getting called for another lap of caution, at least. Through turn 4 we go, and it does look like this time this will be the one here. Hollingsworth in the lead, Sean Bradley in second place. Hollingsworth will be the one to bring us around. We'll jump back up here in the cam. We'll take a look at this. There is the pace car drifting its way in, and we are going to be ready to go. There's that Geico restart zone signaled by the double cones, and there it is. The restart goes, and there's Hollingsworth getting away. Sean Bradley, very, very good restart, but Paul Crumride getting a very, very good start as well. Here we go into turn 1, and there they go side by side. Sean Bradley on the high side, Crumride on the low. Is he going to be able to hold on? Who knows? They continue around 2 by 2. Everybody's pretty well seems like they have their way, and as I say it, there was something in the background.
It's not Herzog again. Is it? It's Herzog again, I think.
It was not Herzog again. We'll see if we can find what actually caused that caution, because I don't have any Cameron Kane.
Close enough. No, not close at all, actually. Don't give me any credit whatsoever. That's a... looseness on the exit of the corner, and a victim claimed up in here. This has been one of the most chaotic triple bypass races I've seen. We've seen it. We might not have seen them all. There's been a couple in the Next Gen League. We had Kansas was notoriously full of incidents to the point where I got pinged in a league announcement over that one. This is another race. It's just racking up the incidents. There's going to be a lot to talk about, I think, after this.
Absolutely. We're on caution number 6 of the night. Everybody's taking their final set of tires. Everybody should have the fuel to run it to the end. And at this point, the question is just, what do you do? Well, for Sean Bradley, what you need to do is get a better restart on this next run than you got on the last one. Crumride there in second place is going to be looking to get a better restart than he did on the last one. And if you're Hollingsworth, you just want to get a good restart.
Well, let me fill you in on a triple bypass league rule. Restarts that don't make it more than a lap start single file. So this is going to give a great launch to Hollingworth, but in exchange, Crumride's going to start in the draft, which could matter a lot in this track. Interesting implications of this rule. It's going to change the nature of this restart quite a lot.
Going to be really, really fun to see how this ends itself up. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be a spicy meatball is what I feel here tonight as they come down the front stretch here. I see one car diving off in the pits. That is Ellison. Looks like a couple of the back markers diving in, taking final pit stops here. Maybe just real quick beat out the fenders, get a little bit of a repair in here, and get ready to go. I'm really curious to see how Kyle Gresh handles these last few laps. It should be a 10-lap shootout to the end here, and Gresh is in 6th place. We've seen Gresh with a lot of pace, but his pace has really been on the long runs. So I don't think 10 laps will be long enough for him to really get a run here. But anything can still happen as they go through.
This does benefit him on the tyre situation. More laps on the yellow means less time for him to burn through these tyres and sort of a better operating range for them. We know he took them a couple laps earlier than the others, and really they're going to come off near the end of this run. Well, if this run keeps shortening and shortening and shortening, that's going to be interesting. Looks like it's going to be a wave around for, I believe that's Herzog at the front as well, which will leave Hollingworth single file on the front row to restart the race.
This is going to be a really interesting race restart to get to the end, I have to tell you. This is one that I'm really not sure how it's going to go. I could tell you one way or the other. I don't know. There's no way to know how this ends. This Indy race has been upside down, sideways, around, and nobody is near where they started, with the exception of one Al Corey. He is the only car on the field. No, correction, him and Hollingsworth are the only 2 cars on the field that are in the positions where they started this race. So that I
Bradley's
think
pretty close, but Crumride is the one that's made the massive moves, and Benson. So been a lot of moves around. I mean, I'm just going to say, knowing John Campbell, expect him to be in first position at the end of 10 laps. He finds a way to do some ridiculous things, and this race certainly has been ridiculous. But all that aside, I think this race is really exposed to people that are good at this track and the people that struggle on this track. It's been a very driver skill battle, but we've seen a lot more passing than I expect. And don't count out the possibility for more incidents. We maybe start this single file after another lap around, but these cars have been getting all sorts of loose in each other's air.
and a little bit more practice is what this takes. Herzog gets his wave around. That is going to release Hollingsworth to get behind the pace car here for one more time around, and it looks like they're taking a double file restart.
Maybe they made a lap. Maybe they made a lap. And I've been talking nonsense this whole time. I know that's a league rule. So we are going to get the double file restart lined up, though. So we are going to get Crumray and Bradley are going to get their chance to attack.
This is going to be interesting because it'll be a 10-lap shootout to the end here with Crumray up on the high line. He's had some pace. Bradley's there in third. Wu, Benson, Gresh in sixth place. He's that third car on the high line. Can he make a move? What can he do on the high line? The high line has not been kind tonight, but anything can happen here as we go down the backstretch.
This would be a very interesting game with a choose rule. Maybe we'll get it soon one day, and drivers will get to choose their line, because it is a very, very single groove race, as you've identified, and drivers on that inside have a massive advantage coming out of these turns. I do feel like that side draft, though, has been really the story of some of these passes.
The side draft has helped a lot, and we'll see if the side draft can help a little bit more to the end of this race. We go through turn 3 here, and we go down the second short shoot here. We're going to shoot into turn 4 under caution number 6 of the night. It's been very eventful. 70 laps here tonight, and we're trying to make it to lap 80. 10 laps to go. Pace car will peel off, and this is going to give us the start of a lifetime. 10 to go here as we go through. Hollingsworth will have the lead. Crumray in the second lane there on the high line. We get going. You look for the double cones there, and that will be the green. Green flag called there. Now we're underway. Look at that side-by-side early on. Sean Bradley in a good mix, but Hollingsworth opening up that gap early, and Kyle Gresh got a very good restart. And look at the fling there Hollingsworth does. High line to low line. He's trying to conserve momentum. He's trying to move it through. Kyle Gresh on the high line there, back in the back, and you can see behind him it is 2x2 all day, every day.
Sean Bradley wants this win. He has that lower line. Doesn't quite clear Crumray out of the... I'm going to keep getting that wrong in different ways and not know until the end of the day what's right. Can't quite clear him into that corner, but he did take that assertive line. You got to wait for your chance to attack, but you're running out of corners now. It's going to be less than 40 turns to decide this.
And everything matters at this point. One little millimeter of difference could spell disaster for you if you're not careful. Sean Bradley, though, with a good run as we run down the front stretch here on that number 10 of Paul Crumray as we continue through. And again, we'll find out how he pronounces his name here, because it looks like he's going to be on for a podium finish in that Toyota as we run through 3 manufacturers, P1, 2, 3 as they sit. But don't count out Kyle Gresh. Kyle Gresh making the inside here on Elton Wu and getting this pass down the backstretch. Sean Bradley side by side with Paul and getting a nose up in the mix. He's going to be on the inside here going through. Hollingsworth needs to open up a gap. 2x2. We go into turn 3. Sean Bradley not able to make this pass happen at the moment. They'll be side by side still into 4. This is going to reel in Gresh. This is going to open up Hollingsworth. Onto the front stretch we go, and they're still not clear.
This is all Hollingsworth wants. If these two drivers slow themselves down, he can make the advantage out. Gresh not done. He's looking pretty impatient, though. Didn't throw it free wide in that big space in the middle because he wants to push for that low line. Instead, can't quite make it up ahead, but he is just absolutely feisty behind. He is going to force into this gap the moment there is a chance. If he slowed down too much, Wu behind will take the chance, but don't count out Gresh making out a fantastic result here. This is absolutely thrilling. He is side by side with Crumray, and he is going to clear going into the next turn. One more driver to go. Hollingsworth's going to be a bit of a struggle now, second down the line, but a P2 on the road would be an absolute thrill.
Hollingsworth trying to hold on behind. Look at that with Matt Harmon getting very feisty there in that Amsoil number 28. He was going side by side here with Elton Wu, trying to get a pass done on Wu for a top 5 finish for Harmon if he can find it. Gresh now trying to defend up ahead. We get the pass up the inside for Harmon if he can hold on, and it looks like he can. Al Corey in the mix as well, up into 8th place now as he's gained places off of this restart. 7 laps to go. Everything still to happen here at Indy. We continue along. Sean Bradley, I believe, just tapped the wall a little bit on the exit of 2. It looks like he is pretty slow. Look at that gap coming down there to Gresh.
This is such a momentum track as well, with these some of the longest straights on the entire calendar. Not the longest, that goes to Pocono, but still some absolutely legendary straights. A little wall tap, and it's more than just a bit of momentum into turns you're losing. You're losing this entire straightaway. Looks like he's kept it together. Gresh could still make up the gap, but it's not as devastating as we first thought. Got to focus on some of these drivers down further behind though as well, as we see some intense battling all around the field. Fastest lap there for Hollingworth, just taken away by Sean Bradley. Bradley's now fastest.
Sean Bradley not going down. Oh, and there's Hollingsworth into the wall on the short chute out of 1. That's a big hit there, and this is going to just absolutely blow the battle out of the water. Any gap that Hollingsworth had is gone if he can't save it. It looks like he might have gotten away just barely. Gap 0.3 of a second now. Gap still coming down. He slapped that outside wall, and it is still going down. Yelling timber. Check out Matt Harmon back here, because behind Matt Harmon is a 2x2 absolute show with Al Corey up the inside here on Wu. If he can make it stick, he can't, but Benson trying to go the outside can't make that work either. Sean Bradley closing this gap now with the help of the draft. You see Hollingsworth trying to swerve through this. This is close racing here at Indianapolis.
The win is now on the cards with that wall hit. It's opened up the draft range. Only 5 laps to go, but that's enough time, I think, with superior pace. Bradley and Gresh have eaten up this track all day. It could be any one of them. No new fastest laps coming through, but they are all within 1/10 of a second. It was 200ths between Bradley and Gresh on their fastest laps.
Kyle Gresh knows how to drive this car around Indianapolis. He knows this track very well in multiple disciplines. You've got Sean Bradley, who has been a dominating force all night, and you've got Hollingsworth, who has been quick, but is going to slide on the exit of 4. Here we go up the inside with Sean Bradley. Will he get him to the line? We come across the line. New leader, Sean Bradley, 4 to go as they cross the line. Kyle Gresh back in 3rd place. He's going to try to look for a move. He's right there. Can he go through? He's going to be on the outside here of Hollingsworth if he can make this pass happen, and he cannot at the moment. They continue around. They continue to go downtown, and Hollingsworth now trying to get the run back on Sean Bradley. Sean Bradley, I don't know how wide a stock car is. I don't know the measurement, but you need to find how wide you can make that car. Kyle Gresh going all the way down to the bottom line here, trying to get the run on Hollingsworth. He's trying to get this pass done, and he's going to be up the inside here into 3. They're going to go side by side into 3. Gresh with the preferred line. Can he clear him?
This could be any one of them. Bradley is getting away nicely here with these 2 drivers slowing each other down, but Gresh is hungry and he's not going to give it up for anything here. This has been incredible. Best racing I've ever seen around here.
Hollingsworth into the wall yet again, and that might spell it out for Hollingsworth, but he's still trying to hold on. Gresh gets a wiggle out of 1. We see things are getting slow. 1/2 second the gap between Sean Bradley, Kyle Gresh. 3 laps spell the difference between this race and between the winner, between the 2nd place, between the 3rd. It's anyone's game to play for. And remember, they have to make it to the white flag first. And if anything else happens behind, it could make this race on its head. Here we go. Sean Bradley holding out 0.4 of a second. He keeps the car together through 3, going into 4. Gresh has a little bit more of a run. And Howie, I tell you what, we're going to cross the line. 2 to go. I don't know who's going to win this.
Bradley has made a fantastic run out of the way, but now trying to break the draft up ahead. That's how desperate he's getting. Gresh just trying to follow up. That slowed him down a lot. That's opened it up. There's going to be another attack before the end.
This race is anything but over. That is Hollingsworth getting loose, and I think that will get Hollingsworth just a little bit further away. That'll give Gresh a little bit of breathing room behind. He can focus ahead. Down the backstretch we go. There is Sean Bradley yet again breaking that toe, using that IndyCar style. But again, Gresh is a driver that knows multiple disciplines around this track, one of them being IndyCar. So he is comfortable with that draft around. 0.2 of a second will be the gap off of turn 4. We'll come around. I don't know who to bet on here, Howie. This is going to be close.
We're going to make it to the white flag. The next one is going to finish the race. Gresh is going to need something good now with 4 corners to go to make it. Very good draft braking. Hasn't quite closed the gap. That's a scary gap, but there's 1 lap and 4 turns.
Both of them get a little wiggle out of 1. They go through. We continue along here into 2. Hollingsworth now on the back of Gresh because Gresh got loose out of 1. Gap 0.3 of a second, continuing to open. Hollingsworth is actually going to look up the inside as they go through. He's not going to be done here. Hollingsworth wants to get the final say-so going into 3. Sean Bradley will be there. Kyle Gresh is going to run very high. Hollingsworth through. Kyle Gresh going to try a switchback, not able to make it. Sean Bradley will exit out of 4 with 0.6 of a second gap. He's been able to breathe, and this is going to be the winner of the Hurricane Helene Relief Triple Bypass Series here on Sunday night in Triple Bypass. A beautiful win for Sean Bradley, 0.6 of a second the gap, and in the end, Hollingsworth does get Kyle Gresh by 1/10 of a second. That is an absolute stellar battle. Elton Wu holds on just barely for 6th place. Matt Harmon in 5th. And I tell you what, Al Corey up into 7th place. Your P10 Alex Goff, Ryan Hyatt in 13th. And Starbucks man himself in 17th for the night. We'll go through the full results in a moment, but Sean Bradley barely holding on to it there, and they're still racing.
That's one of the best race finishes I've ever seen out of this league. All the way to the flag. Truly competitive racing. This race has had everything. It's had massive ups, massive downs, massive stories, and potential drama still to tell between the drivers. But that was just quality racing. Absolutely outskilled across the board. Bradley, I kept seeing that pink car up the front. I thought he would be a threat.
I want to see the donuts. I paid for the donuts. You got Homer Simpson on the front. I better get some good pink glazed donuts here as we go around. There we go. And he taps the wall too. He breaks that rear wing just to make sure the car passes for legal here as he brings it around. The patented Jimmy Johnson tap into the wall. Break that spoiler just as you need to. He's going to continue to burn it down here at the Brickyard, and we'll give Sean Bradley his 15 seconds of fame. I want to review that final lap one more time here because this is really the moment. Kyle Gresh here in 2nd. He was looking for the run. 3rd place was Hollingsworth. And look at the exit off of 1. And I think this is going to be what sealed it, really. Watch. Gresh, he swirls up. Little tap of the wall there of the safer barrier on the exit of 1.
That adds Sean Bradley to our race winners. It's a win and you're in system. You have to have competed in 9 out of the 11 races. But he joins Chad Bear, Bobby Blowers, Zach Roethlisberger, and Matthew Parasini. All of which have secured playoff runs if they keep entering races where the top 11 drivers will enter that chase. He's had fantastic results throughout this race, and getting that win in a league like this really helps settle your nerves. He had to earn it. There was nothing easy about that.
Absolutely amazing run there for Sean Bradley in the end to go through. And let's go ahead and find our race results here. And it is, as I said, this pink mean machine winning this race here today. It was Sean Bradley finding his way up in the front here in the Hurricane Helene relief effort. Again, check out the GoFundMe in the description here. J.R. Hollingsworth on the final lap gets past Kyle Gresh for 2nd place there. Paul Crumry in 4th place. 5th place, Matt Harmon. Elton Wu in 6th. Al Corey finds his way up to 7th. Mr. Jason Benson in 8th. Marty Rogers in 9th. And Alex Goff in 10th place. From there, P11 was Matt Parasini, P12 was James Dorr, and P13 was Ryan Hyatt, 14th Herzog, 15th Charles Woods, 16th place Will Emmert, And 17th, Mr. JC John Campbell himself. 18th place, Michael Seymour. From there, we're looking at 19th, Jeff Slaughter. 20, Naj Crutchley. 21 was Carter Phillips. That is going to be all of our cars that finished on the lead lap. 22nd, Ward Fisher down 5. Cameron Kane down 14. Rick Ellison down 25. Tyler Ruielas, Michael McCuskey, Angel Resendez, Brian Cooper, and Isaac Voss are drivers who did not finish this race here today. Tell you what, I want to hear from one Mr. Sean Bradley himself. We talked about it. We said it. He gets the win in the end. Sean, how's it feel, man?
Feels pretty good. I don't win a lot of these next-gen deals, so this one's pretty special.
I got to ask you, you had some feisty drivers on the back, with one of them being someone that you and me both know has a lot of Indianapolis experience in one Kyle Gresh. And then, of course, Hollingsworth was right in the back looking feisty as well. How'd you manage to keep them behind? Was that luck? Was that skill? What'd you do?
No, it was all luck. I don't have any skill. No, the seas just parted for me. JR hit the wall, I think, and I got around him, and Kyle got around him too, and then they just started sort of fighting each other. JR had amazing corner entry. He just threw it in there and made it stick every time. And then Kyle, he's a master at Indy, so I thought he was going to get me at the end there too, until they started battling each other and kind of faded a bit.
I have to ask, when you're a driver in your position, you've got the fast drivers behind, Sean. What's easier to do? Look behind at what they're doing, or just head down, look forward, and drive until the wheels fall off?
Oh no! My eyes were glued to the rearview mirror. That's why I was weaving to try to break that draft, and it was all about them. I knew what I had to do. I knew my corner entries and everything. I'm just doing the same thing I did for the whole race, but just watching them try and reel me in is nerve-wracking. But like I said, it just happened to fall in my favor.
Yeah, Sean, you pulled this one off here. You've secured yourself into a playoff spot. You've done very, very well here today, pulling out the win at Indy. You kept finding yourself up front in times where I didn't know you'd be up front. Anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go enjoy this win?
Yeah, shout out to Marty for sponsoring this one, and then naming it after the Storm Chasers there that are doing their thing to help out their survivors of that hurricane, and Ryan Hyatt for putting that program together too. Big shout out to all those guys.
Awesome, and big shout out to you again, Sean, for winning. Congratulations. We're gonna drop you down, let you go enjoy that, and yeah, we'll see you on the track for the next one. I think it'll be not your only win here. We'll see more from you, I'm sure.
I certainly hope so. Cheers.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. All right, so that is Sean. Let's see if we can find old Mr. Sexy Waltrip here. Third place driver Kyle Gresh got loose off of one on the final lap, tapped the wall, and that was all she wrote from second to third, or possibly a win to third. The master of Indy, as I've called him, and as Sean just called him, so I feel very secure in the fact that I said that. Kyle, how was your Indianapolis experience here?
Oh, I love Indy. Indy's great. I like the faster cars, though, but these are good, too.
A lot of fun to watch you take this car around, especially because I've raced you at Indy several times here in different cars, different experiences. When you run so many different disciplines at a track, what sort of knowledge can you bring between cars? Even though, we're looking Indy cars versus stock cars, what can you bring to the table that you know from other series?
I think the main thing is I used to run stock cars all the time, and I was a very early adopter of trying to get used to the next gen, because a lot of people have taken a long time to warm up to it, because they're like, oh, it's different, it doesn't handle like the old car, but it isn't the old car, it's a whole separate new thing. But no, I mean, I just try and just jump in this, and I know the basics of what I'm trying to do. The thing with the next gen is the next gen has like some slight characteristics of some sports car stuff, with kind of having that rear differential how it is. So you're able to kind of feel that kind of like on top of the racetrack feeling that you get out of like GT3s and Indy cars, but also some of the stock car stuff that we had before.
And Kyle, I want to talk to you about that final lap. Do you think you had a chance at the win up until you tapped the wall? You were closing on Sean Bradley. Do you think you had the speed to get it done on the final lap?
I I think it was a possibility, but I mean, like you stated when I first got in here, it was just I made a mistake in turn one. Turn one, I actually thought I was good. I thought I was like completely safe, and then it started swinging really, really, really tight. So I had to start letting out of the gas, and then I just kind of carried that all the way to the wall. But maybe try to get a run set up there, try to get on the inside of him, and then have him, Sean, slow down JR or something. But I mean, just with the draft at this track, it's hard to just get by somebody through either the short chute and then hopefully break away from them. It's just too much of a draft here.
Well, it's a great run to watch you attempt it and see you finish up in the top 3 on the podium. Anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, if you want to check out me racing, I do all of basically every race I do on iRacing, I put up on my YouTube channel. So it's Sexy Wall Trip on YouTube. And yeah, check out the fundraiser, the more important thing that Ryan and the boys are setting up to kind of get some people some water down in North Carolina. That's been a problem, so that's good for the boys down there to kind of get some stuff out to some people. So if you got a spare buck or two, throw it in there.
Absolutely. And shout out to you, Kyle. Congrats on the podium finish, and we will see you at the next race. All right, and let's grab our second place finisher here, Mr. Hollingsworth, bringing it home in second on the final lap. You've been up in the mix all night. Tell me, how'd Indianapolis treat you, friend?
Oh, I had a blast. It was a good time. I'm pretty fresh in this league, but it's a good group of guys, and yeah, it was. I like Indy. Usually do decent here.
Indy is a unique track, I find. What is it about Indy that you like specifically in these cars, or is it just the track itself you like?
I like it in most cars. I used to run in an Indy league, and it was a lot of fun in there. But I don't know, just the different way to take the turns. You know, they're all 4 turns. I mean, it looks the same, but they're all different, and you have to learn where to set up and get in the turn, and the speed is off the turn. You know, and you probably saw in the last few laps there, I screwed up 1 and 2 a couple of times, and that's what cost me the lead. But still, had a blast. Good racing with these guys.
It was a lot of fun to watch you run through and, see you battle through. Do you think if you had had a couple more laps, you could have got back up in the lead?
No, I don't think so, because I was driving so hard knowing we only had a few laps left. I roasted the tires pretty good trying to keep the lead, and I seen an opportunity because I think his name's Kyle, hit the wall, and I'm like, okay, he's going to be a little bit slower, so I downshifted in that turn and was able to get alongside of him in the backstretch and make the pass on the last lap there.
And it was a big pass there, got you up in the second place. But before we let you go celebrate that second place, anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, I first thing appreciate Triple Bypass for letting me and my buddies in here, and we're having a good time. I don't normally race on Sundays, but I'm going to start doing it now just because I'm having such a good time in here, and everybody's really nice. And we've had a couple cautions and whatnot, but I mean the racing was good, and the people are good, so thank them. And I appreciate what they're doing for the Helene victims. I donate myself, but I've donated a bunch to different charities. I'm a disabled veteran myself, so anyways, I donate a lot, and but I appreciate what they're doing for that. And also my guys, I have a little group called OGR, Old Guys Rule. It's just our little group that we get on and race with, and appreciate those guys. And you guys, I can't wait to watch the broadcast and check it out. It'll be my first time watching, so that'll do it, man. God bless America.
Awesome. I hope you enjoy the broadcast. I'm not going to lie, because we put some effort into it as always, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. There's a couple of funny moments in there. So we'll leave you to go enjoy your second place, sir, and thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate you, Howie and Bradley. You guys have a good night, and I hope you have a good week.
Awesome. Thank you. Howie, I tell you what, I love rounding off my Sunday nights. I know it's a good way for you to start your week, but I love ending my nights with a triple bypass here. It's always a good time for me.
I love ending any night of the week on triple bypass. I love everything this league does, and they keep delivering. They've converted me into a racer, for God's sake. It's why I have to miss one of my favourite leagues on the broadcast, because I'm on the track. The quality of racing is fantastic, even when you'd least expect it. And that was a truly awesome presentation.
It was absolutely amazing to go through. Again, I can't say this enough, but a big shout out to Tennessee Storm Chasers and everything they're doing to support the hurricane victims. Please go check out the GoFundMe in the description of this live stream here. Even if you're watching this back after the fact, again, everything helps through. But that is where we're going to sign off here on this Sunday night of racing. On behalf of Mr. Howie Burrows, who's been here with me. He's sometimes on the track, he's sometimes in the booth. You never know where he's going to be, but he's here with me tonight. My name is Bradley Dalton. We've taken you start to finish here tonight. Be sure to join us the next time on the JP Broadcasting Network, where we'll take you start to finish yet again. Good night.